here's the thing. Technically, I already made this video. I made the chemise, I made the whole project, and I was sifting through the footage and I was putting it together. And honestly, it's tedious because a chemise is not a hard thing to make, and somehow I made it seem like the hardest thing in the world. One of the hardest things for me when I sew, this sounds so dumb, one of the hardest things for me when I sew is reading instructions and translating them into actionable steps. Commercial patterns are just hard in and of themselves because they have their own like lingo and charts, and it's all in like shorthand, and even when you know how to read them, like I know what the words mean, but they're still really hard. I use commercial patterns sparingly unless I've already done them. In that case, I kind of remember the steps and it's much easier the second time. It's always easier the second time, which is what this video is kind of about. So the other thing is that for this pattern, I was working from not a commercial pattern. I was working from this PDF that I found online, and it was clearly like put together by an individual who has a lot of knowledge and a lot of passion, but it is also a lot of information. And so my brain is like, okay, but where's the step? It's like word problems. It's like word problems in math class. Did any of that make sense? I don't know. Coffee time. So here's the thing about having a chemise is that it's never a bad thing to have more than one. I mean, it's underwear, right? And this one is a little bulky, you know, I can, whatever. Past me will tell you about what past me did with this, because I already filmed it. But in a serendipitous moment that sort of instigated my desire to actually do this a second time for real, my mom is helping her parents clear out stuff. She sent me just some lovely, crisp, white, well cared for cotton, mostly cotton, I assume. I don't know, I didn't burn test it. I guess I could do that. I don't want to, I'm using it. So thanks, Mom. We're gonna break this down into easy, actionable steps, and we're just gonna go one by one down the line. Still gonna use a machine because I am not made of time. Here are the steps, roughly 9 of them. And this is from reading all of the PDF. I read it in detail and from having made one before. That's it. I can't spell for shit. So here we go. Number 1, mark and cut the pieces, baby. Even though it gets cinched in, I made this a little too wide, too gathered, so I'm gonna narrow down my main pieces from last time just by a hair. But the rest of it, the sleeves and the gussets, worked pretty well, so I'm gonna keep the same measurements. I got there like this. Let's see if I can do this. And then I need to measure like, I guess the sort of the width of the, I guess that's really the gusset width, like point to point. Not the sleeve. The sleeve I'm just gonna kind of loosely, I guess I could measure it. Okay, I'll try and measure it. So like, yeah. So, do with that what you will. So there I go. Look at her go. So I took the drawstring out of the first chemise. I laid my curtains out on the floor, folded over, so I'm cutting everything on the fold, narrowing down a little bit using that first chemise as a guide, and that's that. Measure and cut, baby, that's what we're doing. So now that I've got my pieces cut out, we're gonna start nice and easy connecting the shoulder pieces together, right sides to right sides, and then flat felling that seam as is specified in the instructions. Oh, look at her go, doing it all right. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I just ironed my seams before finishing them. We love doing the bare minimum, all right? Flat. felling, oh, flat felling. You ever just sing whatever you're doing to the tune of Grease Lightning? Me neither. And after that charming musical interlude and flat felling my shoulder seams, I was kind of on a roll, forgot to make my check mark, and went ahead and just attached the sleeves to the shoulder curve. Alright, this is the part that gave me a lot of guff last time. Well, I've made a big old mistake here. This side is looking awesome. Look at that perfect little right angle there. This side, I did backwards. So my gusset is attached backwards. So, I'm going to read these very carefully, referencing my instructions. Most of this I've done from memory so far, and having only made it once before, I feel like really good about that and just a tiny bit smug, so oops. Okay, gusset. Pin the back edge, double notch, which I didn't notch because I hate marking my patterns because I'm a monster, of your gusset to the back edge of the sleeve, right sides together. Just to be fair to the author of this, they are very specific. Note, this is a crucially important step that will prevent any puckering of the gusset as you set it in place. Be sure to start and end your seams right on the dot. I see what they mean, and from having made this before, I know what they mean, that you have to leave room for the side seam allowance. Otherwise you're gonna get kind of like otherwise you're gonna get exactly what I got last time, which is all of this nice little bunching that happens when you don't leave that space. So even though I didn't mark my pattern appropriately, because it's not really a pattern, I'm kind of just measuring and going for it, I'm gonna do that. Well, I'm gonna try to leave that space this time. So anyway, now pin back of your gusset to the back edge of the sleeve, right sides together. That's all we're doing on both sides. Easy peasy. Now pin the front edge. Well, I want to be on camera, show me. I want to be on the camera show, it's my show. All right. Now pin the front edge, single notch if you're following along on this PDF and you're doing it right, of your gusset to the front edge of the sleeve, right sides together, stitch as before. Now you've created the arm opening for your sleeve and will have the bottom edges of the gusset hanging free. So this is where I messed up before, because you want it to be these points. Or the gussets are on correctly the first time? Who is she? Here I go on step 6, sewing up the side seams, and then I didn't really film any of finishing the interior seams because it's kind of boring, but that also happens here, so yeah. So this is the part where I am making the binding that is going to go around the neckline, and I'm going to go ahead and use the footage from the first time I did it with the pattern sheet here, because quite frankly I spent a lot of time on this footage and it looks really nice, so enjoy some aesthetic ironing and binding making. gonna thread this drawstring around the neckline and hem the sleeves in the bottom, and then that's it. Okay, I have lost the will to be on camera at this time, so enjoy this bathroom selfie while I conclude my thoughts. This project, as giant air quotes simple as it seems, was a really good challenge for me, both as a sewer, seamstress, and as a video maker, I guess, learning how to be that. As I think I've mentioned before, I tend to be an impatient maker. I like to binge my projects and get to the results. And even with my second attempt, I did adapt and change mid-project. Astute viewers may notice that I switched steps 8 and 9, admitting that not only that I needed to make another chemise, but also if I wanted to tell this whole story, that I had to film that process all over again, was not my favorite thing, but I'm proud of myself. I think there's a lot of beauty to be appreciated in just a crisp, accurate, finished piece of sewing, and it feels good to know that it'll last, and I'm proud of that too. And it looks just so right with the stays, so I don't know, I'm pleased, and I guess now I just have to figure out how to make the dress. No problem, right? You want to know a secret? I'm filming this on the first day of fall, and this is still cold brew coffee because I drink cold brew coffee all summer, but I wanted to use a fun mug that has my initial on it. So I'm drinking cold coffee out of a hot mug, and it's really confusing my brain right now.